One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his step, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report and pace his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Shit, what's good with everyone, man? Much love, honor, respect, everybody. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their Monday morning. We got some sad news, however, but good to see everyone up in here. Listen, every day above ground is a good day, you know. So we got a lot of live news to kind of go over here. Obviously, today's going to be primarily focused on the Pope. That's huge news, obviously. So Pope Francis dies at 88, sadly. May he rest in peace. Listen, man, we got a lot to discuss in all of this, and we're going to go ahead and even go after, because we're not going to cover the entire, like, hour-long stream of them just reporting on it. We're going to get the facts. We're going to discuss the facts, and then we're going to go ahead and move on into the news cycle, the normal news cycle, which is only on the main Fox side right now, because Live Now from Fox is talking all about the Pope for the entire day. So with that being said, before we get into the craziness, man, make sure you guys hit that like button. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are brand new to the show, man, hit that subscribe button because it's also free. Please consider becoming a member starting at $2.99 a month. This is exactly how I am allowed to speak the way that I do, because we don't have to cater to freaking views over here. We get to listen, it's 100% funded by you guys. So this is why we're able to do what we do. So I very much appreciate your guys' patronage and joining in the members. We got a lot of emotes that are already out there for you guys, for the channel members, but also you know, listen, man, we got a lot more emotes coming as well. Naomi's been working hard on those. A little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV. Listen, this is where I post everything behind the scenes of the show, my lifestyle of millennial food time. This is the best way to get a hold of me personally. And we also have a Discord link in every description of every video, just so everyone knows. You can just hit that description button right now and hit that Discord link. And 95%, I would say, of the Breakfast Club is in there, but I want to get it to 100%, everyone in there. Okay, last but not least, every single super sticker, super chat, gifted membership signups are, of course, going to be shouted out and presented live onto the show. But, of course, if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut, we have these platforms scrolling for the remainder of the show. And, of course, I will shout you same thing as I would shout you guys out and your message on that side. This is how you get 100% of that money going straight to the creator, by the way. All right. So with that being said, good morning to everyone. We got freaking all of you legends up in here. We got 13. We got Brother Warland. We got Brother Red. We got SNS. Holy shit. We got all of you guys. Man, I'm trying to keep up. We got Christopher. We got freaking, man, thank you guys so much. We got Carney up in here saying smash that like. That's right, homie. He knows the deal. He knows the deal. Anson says, okay, morning exercise is now over and it's complete. We got Brother Lee Lance up in here, as well as Brother Straight Jacket Man. It's been a minute. Good to see you, cuh. Good to see you. Let's see. We got Rabbit of Chaos. Good morning to you as well. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I say my good mornings here. We got Brother Hardwire. Um, really quickly scrolling. You guys are typing away. This is awesome. I love seeing your guys' engagement always. We got Brother Screwplan as well. Thank you for hanging out with us, as well as Glare 1%er, as well as Tiffany Lance. Man, we got the whole fam family. The only thing we're missing right now is Naomi. Unfortunately, hope Naomi is feeling all right. She is. She just had a late night, and so she's sleeping in right now. And just the way of the road. That's all right. We can go ahead and do this and handle this, no problem. We got Family Life up in here. Fester, my man. Good to see you up in here saying good morning, BV and the Breakfast Club, my man. Good morning to you over there on the West Coast. Yes, sir. All right, so let's go ahead and get into what the craziness of this morning is. Obviously, this is when it was happening. Pope Francis, unfortunately passed away at around 7:30 this morning. So it happened just today. Anyways, let's go ahead and figure out what the main story is, how they're breaking it, and then we're going to go into a little bit more of the little bit of discussion, and then we're going to go into JD Vance speaks out on Pope Francis after his death, after meeting, and then we're also going to go into the main news cycle. So anyways, hit that like button.
We are following some breaking news on this Easter Monday. The Vatican stating that Pope Francis has died on Easter Monday at 88 years old, making this announcement. And I did want to share this statement from the Vatican at 9:45 a.m.
Brother Beezer, my man, old Beezer Geezer, what's good, my man? Hopefully you're doing well this beautiful morning for you down there in South Florida. Yes, sir. All right, let's go ahead and see what the ordeal is
Easter
here.
Monday, Cardinal Kevin Farrell Carmangello of the Apostolic Chamber spoke these words at the Casa Santa Marta. Dearest brothers and sisters, with deep sorrow, I must announce the death of our Holy Father Francis at 7:35 this morning, the Bishop of Rome. Continuing that statement, I also did want to share a live look with you of Vatican Square right now, as many have gathered for the Holy Easter Sunday and now Easter Monday. But continuing that statement from the Vatican.
You know what's funny, SNS, is there's already, if you look in the comment sections of social media right now, you can see what the left is already saying. And yeah, that is something that is being said. And that's utterly just insane. Like, who the fuck? If you actually would believe something like that, it's unreal. It's unreal. I even saw it in Black Dragon's chat this morning.
Francis returned to the house of the Father. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and of his church. He taught us to live the values of the gospel with fidelity, courage, and universal love, especially in favor of the poorest and most marginalized. With immense gratitude for his example as a true disciple of the Lord Jesus, we commend the soul of Pope Francis to the infinite merciful love of the one and truant God. The Pope was admitted to the hospital on Friday, February.
Shit, it's pouring rain for you right now, Lee. Up there, you're only like a couple hours away from me. Right now, it's a cloudy day, but it's not raining yet.
14th, after suffering from a bout of bronchitis for several days.
Speaking of weather, let me know, each and every one of you guys. Let me know what temperature you guys are currently sitting at and what, just temp and state. Temp and state. Let me know in the comment section.
And his clinical situation gradually worsened. That's according to the Vatican. His doctors diagnosing double pneumonia just 4 days after that. The Pope spent 38 days in the hospital before returning to his Vatican residence to continue his recovery. In 1957, in his early 20s, he underwent surgery in his native Argentina to remove a portion of his lung that had been affected by a severe respiratory infection. And as he aged, this is according to the Vatican, Pope Francis frequently suffered bouts of respiratory illness, even canceling a planned visit to the United Arab Emirates in November 2023 because of
So Screwplan saying here in Nebraska, it's 40 degrees. Damn, that's cold. I wonder how cold it is right now outside for me. I ask you guys what temp it is, and I don't even know what temp it is here. Right now, it's 10 a.m., 10:09, and it is 73 degrees, going to be up to 78. So right now it says it feels like 67, though. We got 67 in California. Scramble North, good to see you, man. Good morning. Let me go ahead and bring myself up so you guys can even see me here. We got off-grid Terps up in here saying 42 northern New Mexico and sunny. Nice. We got another New Mexico resident. We've got Brother Carney out here saying 50 where he's at in New Mexico. Little 8-degree fluctuation between you two. We got 46 degrees in King County, Washington. Man, that's cold. 64 mid-Michigan. Isn't that crazy how Michigan can be warmer than certain parts of like the South sometimes? I love when the North gets like warmer than the South. It's weird. But yeah, for you, it's actually a little colder than me, but I'm just saying in context of like everyone else, you're actually one of the warmest. Aside from Scramble, saying 67. Mobile is like around 76, right? Mobile, Alabama. Nice. Good to see that. Feels more like 90. Yeah, here in Alabama, especially in southern Alabama, a lot of freaking humidity. 78 here in eastern North Carolina. Shit, you are the hottest in the chat right now, except for Beezer. Beezer kills it at 82 degrees down there in South Florida. 73 and rain in northeast Ohio, 45 degrees in North Illinois, 79 in Central Florida. Nice. 55 and I don't even know how to say that. Dorchester? Is that how you say it? Massachusetts? My bad. ML, no disrespect to you and your city, man, or your area. I just I'm an illiterate fuck, you know what I mean?
Oh shit! Oh shit! Stupid.
Let's see here. We got KP up in here. Brother KP, good morning to you. Lindsay Smith is saying it's 76 degrees in Kampala, Uganda right now. You're in Uganda? Wow, I didn't know that. And it's today here in Nebraska, I think, supposed to be low 70s, and overnight it was 28 with frost again. Holy shit. Well, thank you guys for checking in and engaging so much on that, by the way. And good morning to everybody. Real quick, before we hop back into this, I'm going to show you guys why not, since I've already got it queued up. So yesterday was actually a fantastic day. I woke up at 5:15 in the morning. I woke up 5:15 in the morning, and I haven't woken up that early in freaking forever. I mean, it's been like over a year. And I think the last time I woke up that early was when I went fishing, I think. Anyways, so we woke up and did an Easter service, sunrise service. You got to love it. But it was unfortunately cloudy all morning, and this is the only moment during the entire morning that the sun kind of peeked through, and I was like, I'm going to capture that moment. And then we had Easter dinner and stuff like that. But anyways, we actually had Easter breakfast here too with everyone, which was great. But yeah, I'll go ahead and play it now.
For us, amen. God's love for each one of us. John chapter 15, verse 13. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friend. The blood tells the story of God's love this morning, amen. And when you feel unworthy, remember the blood. When you feel unloved, just remember the blood. When you feel forgotten this morning,
Just set up. You got to get down with your bad selves. You know what I mean? That's how you do it over here. Out here in these streets. All right. So real quick, let's go ahead and hop into what the news cycle is talking about with JD Vance. I guess JD is speaking since meeting him for the first time yesterday. Real quick, let's see. I spelled it how we say it in Boston. Got you. You guys have your own language over there in Boston, my man. But yeah, I think you know that. Let's see what we got. Steve Posey. I knew I saw my man right there. He said, "Good morning. I hope everyone had an amazing Easter." We sure the hell did, man. We unfortunately have some bad news this morning, but that's just, unfortunately that is life. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the rest of this shit.
Let's bring in Fox and Friends co-host Brian Kilmeade. Brian, good morning to you. Thank you so much for hopping on set with us. This isn't the first time you've covered the passing of a pope. So what are your reflections right now?
I mean, John Paul II was the most titanic. I mean, this guy was iconic. He was the first to travel. He added so much personality in life, combined to take down communism. You talk about a guy that transcended politics and the papacy. I think it was him. And then the extraordinary moment when Pope Benedict says, "Hey, I'm alive, I'm okay, but I think it's time for me to step aside." And when he steps aside, you think about how conservative he was and how traditional he was. He was the biblical scholar. He was the one to go back in history. He was the one to what he thought would be even less mainstream, more mainstream than Pope Paul II. But when he steps aside, he's replaced by this Pope, Pope Benedict, who really wanted to change things. He didn't like the opulence. He didn't like the gold. He didn't like the fine thing that comes along with that role. And then you think about
speaking of, let me know what you guys did for your guys' Easter. Some people don't even celebrate it, which is cool. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, did you guys have like a good ass dinner or something like that? What'd you guys do? Let me know.
What he was able to do and really focus what he says is on the poor. And he was a big critic of President Trump. He has been in the past. He was extremely critical of our immigration policy. He had less than a 5-minute meeting with J.D. Vance less than 24 hours ago. He thought when it comes to climate change, that was something that he really wanted to focus on. And obviously, that's never been a priority here. But you can't think about anything. But in the terms of
He did have trans parties? No way. No way. For real? Man, that's fucking heresy. We got freaking Charles Darwin down there from down under in Australia, man. Good morning to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Tuesday morning for you. You're like 18 hours ahead of us. But good to see you, my man. Good to see you. It is morning for you, though. I lemon pepper chicken because I don't celebrate Easter, but I did eat a hollow chocolate bunny to the face like a fat bastard. Hey, W's to that, man. I like that.
Emotional damage.
And that was the correct soundbite to use.
Human being, he's as good as it gets. He gave his whole life for other people. He gave his sole focus to the poor. When he got to this job, he didn't use it to consolidate power. He used it to disperse it. And I was just speaking to Father Jonathan over here, and he just reminded me, too, of some of the things that he brought out was, hey, when it comes to same-sex marriage, well, let's think about that. When it comes to having people get divorced and have their second marriage in church, let's consider that. And when it comes to even priests marrying, maybe that's something we should debate. There wasn't necessarily a plan how to do it, but it was, let's think about these things. But many traditional Catholics thought.
See, the one thing, exactly what Blair is basically going to get at here is, he definitely involved himself politically at the end there as well. And I was like, man, why don't you just go ahead and keep your opinions and your shit for the damn church, for the Vatican? You keep that shit over the, you know what I mean? Like, fuck, man. Like, we don't need you trying to influence the rest of your world, because who are you to speak on politics? You know religion, man. Like, I respect that you know religion like a motherfucker. All right? I respect that. I respect that you know Catholicism obviously to the T. But when it comes to politics across the world over here in the United States, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Just saying.
Including your previous guest, I'm not sure I'm not sure that's where the Catholic Church should be heading, which leads us to the next 2 weeks. We're going to decide which way the Catholic Church will head.
Damn, I think it's the coldest for you, Brother Slim. He says 36 in Montana. That's rough.
When half the College of Cardinals were appointed by this Pope, you wonder if they think like him.
That's right. And
she found you a Sam Squamch. If you guys are into Trailer Park Boys, that's what Bubbles calls the Sasquatch, Sam Squanch. I posted the pic. I thought she might stay with him, but she came home with me, whether that's good or not. I guess that speaks volumes about you, kind sir.
Less than an hour ago, Vice President J.D. Vance posted on X, I just learned of the passing of Pope Francis. My heart goes out to the millions of Christians, of which he is one, all over the world who loved him. I was happy to see him yesterday, though he was obviously very ill. But I'll always remember him for this homily he gave in the very early days of COVID.
Him coming out and doing this meeting is probably honestly what probably sent his body over the edge. I mean, I'm going to guess, you know what I mean? He was dealing with some serious shit, and he's been pretty much hospitalized for, I mean, we reported it the day that he went and was in the hospital. So I'm sure that him doing this was a lot of energy for his body. But I'm not going to make assumptions here. I don't know what or how what happened there. I have no idea. I'm just assuming.
Was really quite beautiful. May God rest his soul. And God certainly is doing just that. But it must be very interesting to be J.D. Vance right now and thinking I was the last public official of the level that he reached to meet Pope Francis yesterday. And at that time, during that meeting, he had no idea that we would be sitting here.
Good morning. We got Miss Naomi up in here. Good morning to you. Hopefully you're doing well this morning. And I already told everyone that, hey, you're taking you're going to nap in a little bit. All good with that. Absolutely.
We're talking about this
good
today.
To see you.
Absolutely. And he just became a Catholic recently. So he's oftentimes, that I find just personally, anecdotally, when someone converts to Catholicism, they become the scholars. Almost like new immigrants. When they come to America, they know history better than people that were born here. So he really dove in hard on it. And of course, he gave...
Well, it is true, though. Statistically speaking, you have an 100% more chance, 100 times more likely, rather, not 100%, 100 times more likely to have your child SA'd in a school system or public school system than any church in the United States or in the world. So I thought that was an interesting statistic, though. So.
He's sparred with other people in the past, and he always speaks his mind. He's over in India now. But I think it's going to be very interesting over the next 2-3 weeks, because at 88 years old, after spending weeks in the hospital, where we thought this sadly was going to come to fruition earlier than this, there's sadness of his.
Good morning, Brother So Loud, saying good morning, Mike, and all the ballers. What a beautiful day. Much respect from the boondocks of North Carolina. My man, good to see you. And Tiffany says she was up at 5:45. Damn, you had to be up that freaking early for the bus? Man, fuck that. Thank you, Blair. What was that? Oh, there's I see what you're talking about regarding the Pope and the whole party situation. Yikes. That's terrible. We got Brother William up in here. We got my man saying, rest in peace, Chief Heretic. Yeah, no kidding. I understand the mindset there. Absolutely, I do. And KP, I got you, my man. Let me go ahead and catch up with the comments, and then I will definitely bring out the left-handed tobacco. We gotta do our due diligence here and see everyone and hang out with everyone first before we get all crazy and partied up. Mike's most expensive jewelry. That is true. Rip Mike's necklace as number one. Yeah, no kidding. This was the most expensive piece of jewelry I had. But now, yeah, Hardwire, you are correct. Ding, ding. Shit.
It's passing, but there's really billions of Catholics around the world wondering what direction are we heading. And I'm just wondering, do you go into the United States? Because now finding out the rules, and I'm reminding myself, if you're over 80 as a cardinal.
Yeah, that shit is heresy right there. That's insane.
You don't vote in this.
I know there are age
so interesting, right?
Yeah.
So is it smart to put a 70-year-old in that spot, or should they be?
God dang it, Christopher, up at 4 a.m. for work. Damn, that is brutal, my man. I feel that. That sucks.
Contending, because if you talk about a personality, somebody that really understands the church and loves all people, that would transcend the position. I know I'm biased, but Cardinal Dolan, a few blocks from here.
That, yes.
I mean, he says, maybe his last time would have been the perfect time. The Benedict would have been the perfect age when Benedict got named. I'm not sure if there's bias against America with the College of Cardinals. But if anybody really wants to put a face and a personality behind the number one religion in the world, most populous, it would be cardinal dog.
Okay, so that was the end of that. And this was uploaded, by the way, 5 hours ago, basically right when right after the breaking news of the whole ordeal. So let's go ahead and get back into over here on this side. And then after we get a little bit more of the story from this morning, we will absolutely go into the normal news cycle.
Has died on Easter Monday at 88 years old. And there is now a very long historical tradition of what happens next. The Vatican first announcing this news, and then comes another set of procedures. And I did want to share what those procedures are with you right now. The election of a new pope, known as a conclave, is a tradition steeped in history. Following a papal vacancy, the College of Cardinals...
Listen, Charles, real quick. If you keep waking up at 1 a.m. and you can't go back to sleep or whatever the case is, man, I'm doing a service. I'm doing a service now, Charles. Do you see how that works? Shit.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
But now I might be advocating for you to stay up when maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you would normally stay up for maybe 10, 15 minutes. Well, now you're up for the damn morning. So grab yourself a beer, kind sir.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
I done called you out. Don't forget to hit that like button, everybody. Yes, that is the #1 metric of all of YouTube. Make sure you guys hit it. It's free to do so. And if you guys are new here, man, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because it's also free. Just letting you know. Just Mike Ball is live according to the notification I just received. That sucks. They're just sending out the notifications. It's great. Anyways,
gathers to elect a new pope. Cardinals eligible to vote must be under 80 years old, and out of all of those eligible, only 120 are able to vote. Once the cardinal electors gather, they proceed to the Sistine Chapel and take an oath of secrecy before sealing the chapel doors. While the area of the papal conclave is sealed off for the election, cardinals and their secretaries, along with doctors, other staff, and those with specific election-related duties can enter. Cardinals are also forbidden access to any news media and are also forbidden from using phones.
much love, Frank. We'll see you on the flip side. Be safe out there as well.
Or any type of computer device. During the election process, the Cardinals vote by secret ballot. 4 rounds of voting take place each day, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, until a candidate receives 2/3 of the vote. The results of each ballot are counted out loud and recorded by 3 cardinals designated as recorders. If no one receives the necessary 2/3 of the vote, the ballots are burned in a stove near the chapel with a mixture of chemicals to produce black smoke.
That's crazy.
When a cardinal receives the necessary 2/3 vote, the dean of the College of Cardinals asks the chosen cardinal...
I actually didn't know anything about any of this. I had no idea.
...if he accepts his election. If he accepts, he chooses a papal name and is dressed in papal vestments before proceeding out to the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica. The ballots of the final round are burned with chemicals producing white smoke to signal to the world the election of a new pope.
Wow.
The dean appears on the balcony.
I had zero idea that any of this was. I had no idea. I never knew the tradition or anything about it. I'm also not Catholic, but just saying.
And declares in Latin, quote, "We have a pope." Shortly after that, the new pope appears on the same balcony wearing his pontifical robes and gives his first blessing as pope to the public.
That's pretty cool, actually. I like tradition like that.
Those are the next
Badass.
steps that the Vatican will now enlist as you take a live look there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Carney knows the deal right here.
At the Vatican. And we did want to share more about the
Yo, we got Papa
legacy
Penguin up
of
in here.
Pope Francis.
Good morning, kind sir. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far. Good to see you, my man.
As we continue to follow this breaking news, as Pope Francis has died on this Easter Monday at 88 years old. Pope Francis was the first pope of
Okay, wait.
the Americas, hailing from Argentina, and he was a very prominent figure throughout the continent, as though he did remain a simple pastor who was deeply loved.
Okay. All right. So we got the story here for the first half, ladies and gentlemen. We got the first half regarding the Pope. Rest in peace to him. It's a total bummer situation, right? We got chatting with Stacks up in here saying, Mike, how you doing? Good morning, kind sir. Good to see you as well. If you guys haven't gone over and saw that Chatting with Stacks has a great ass show over there, go over there and make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, man. We're going to be doing something very soon. We've got we're eventually, I mean, we've been planning it out. So we're going to do a show together. It's going to be a good time. Let's see here. My first lesson as Pope would be, don't be gay. Yeah. Why are you gay? You are gay. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and get into the rest of the news cycle. Boom. Here we go.
Do want to get into some of the other headlines that we are covering right now. Let's take a live look at it.
U.S. and Iran report progress after meeting in Rome, which Vance just did that yesterday, right?
Image that is coming in here at this hour.
Be very, very cautious about, and that is overcharging certain.
Why did it change? Why did it just do that? I'm very confused. Why did it just jump like that? You guys saw that like I did, right? I didn't touch anything. That was so fucking weird. Why would it do that? I'm going to try to find the story now. I had it all saved up for you guys, but at least you guys got the headline. Let me go ahead and fast forward and see if we have anything going on crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on. Here it is.
Historic cases.
Boom. Found it. Thank God. Because I really wanted to hear that, and I saved it on purpose, and I hadn't listened to any of it, and I was like kind of stoked to go ahead and listen to what's happening here, how the meeting was yesterday.
For 6 nuclear bombs. It'll take them.
Okay, hold on. This is such a long live stream that even just the smallest backtrack is like moving 20 minutes.
Right now, let's take a live look at an image that is coming in here at this hour from Rome. And this is outside the Oman embassy. That is where the U.S. and Iran have resumed their talks about Tehran's nuclear program. And all of this, you'll remember, comes just a week after the first meeting between the two. That one was actually in Oman. And you can see guards there blocking what appears to be the entrance to the embassy there. And as the camera shifts a little bit to the right, you'll actually be able to see that huge media presence there looking to get.
Well, it's never too late. It's never too late, Papa Penguin. I'm sure he probably will be involved in some sort of that rhetoric, right?
A glimpse of anyone involved in the talks. To break all of this down here, I do want to bring in a great friend of the show. We have Mark Chandler, Director of Government Relations at Coastal Carolina University and Professor of Practice, also a former senior defense intelligence official. Thank you so much for taking the time, as always, Mark, to be here with us.
You're welcome, Josh, and good morning.
All right. Well,
now this guy
off,
is a very, very in-depth. I don't know if he's an analyst. I don't know what his ordeal is. I would assume every time he spoke, it's always been, basically from an analyst point of view.
I do want to ask you overall, if you can break down for us really whether or not these talks will actually maybe lead to something. Is it possible the U.S. could convince Iran to get rid of its nuclear program?
Well, Josh, that's the $64,000 question right there. It's actually so important.
That's a way better way to go. I'm on Toko. Yes. Bro, Carney, W to you, dude. That's funny. I like that.
Group put out a special edition newsletter this week to try to break this down. And what I want to say at the heart of the matter is, will Iran give up completely its nuclear weapons program? So if I characterize it, let me explain what a good deal looks like. And that is,
absolutely, Brother Lee. Be safe out there, and we'll see you on the flip side as always, my man.
Is Iran has no nuclear weapons program and will not pursue that. And what that means is they have to, one, destroy every aspect of their nuclear weapons development program. So go inside the big areas at Natanz and Esfahan, destroy all the highly enriched uranium processing abilities, turn over their research, just basically dismantle, destroy, and open for immediate inspection to international agencies to go in there and look at everything and ensure they're complying with. A lot of folks call this the Libyan model. It occurred back in around 2003 when Libya gave up its nuclear weapons program. That is a big
Yeah, this is totally an analyst point of view. Absolutely. I mean, you can tell by the way that he knows his own, like all the history and the link, how it's linked up. Yeah, interesting.
For Iran. And so they don't want to do that. They are pursuing nuclear weapons. They've come out and publicly said they don't want to do it. So can that be achieved? And that's really, I think, what we're going to have to start to get into in these negotiations. Because as a reminder, right now, Iran has enough enriched uranium for 6 nuclear bombs. It'll take them about 2 weeks to get to the core material, if you will, to have active bomb capability. So we're within 1 to 6 months of them having an active bomb. That has to be stopped as we work our way through it. And by the way, for context, Iran is the only non-nuclear weapon nation that has that much enriched.
Yeah, basically, with Muammar Gaddafi, we sent 5. What did he shoot? 5 or 6 like Libyan missiles and trying to hit a U.S. plane or something like that. They missed. And then like the next day we bombed their tent, you know, or his tent. And then was no longer. That's basically what happened, right?
Enriched uranium in that category. No other nation on earth has that much.
Thank you, SNS.
Why Rome?
Hit
That's a
that
big
Discord link, everyone. Make sure you guys join up if you have not already. That is where the majority of us hang out, right there.
Here, because we know last week we were in the same position here. You were
Why
on
are
with
you
me,
gay?
and we talked about Oman and the fact that that is where they were meeting. Why Rome?
Well, first off, that does on the surface seem as an odd location for that. But I think actually Italy comes out as a good neutral arbiter in this entire process. So if I go back to the JCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action Agreement, Italy was kind of left to the outside when UK, France, and Germany were participating with the United States in those negotiations. So Italy actually maintained moderate relations with Iran throughout the process and while that was implemented. Some good trade relations. They had some heads of state visit.
See, I'm thinking of Muammar Gaddafi. That's who I'm thinking of. That I'm talking about like in the 80s. That's who I thought you were talking about. Maybe it's got to be something like that. Right? That's what maybe there's a secession here. I don't know how the family or an organization, I don't know how that works.
At the time.
Am I talking about the same person in Libya?
So I think Iran sees Italy as a neutral arbiter. And then you look at the United States and Italy, and you see a growing relationship as evident by this week's head of state visit to the White House. So it makes sense that they're seen as neutral, but also benefit.
Yes, same guy. That incident was unrelated to what you're talking. I get you. Okay, I got you. I was speaking past you for a second. My apologies.
To both sides. The Omanis still have representatives there. So that gives a little more comfort, I believe, to Iran to do this. But it's a good neutral location and puts Italy kind of at the forefront of this international process.
I like that. Hardwire says, what? What? I like that. Still only $150 in the party fund. Mike can drink and smoke that up in an hour. That is true. He's not wrong. Y'all better break out that moldy money and help out. Every dollar counts. Yes, we do have a really, really badass 4th of July party that we're going to be hosting here at the ranch here, the Ball Ranch. It's going to be a great ass time for 4th of July weekend. So there is a GoFundMe link for the party. It costs a lot of money to go ahead and throw something like that, for booze, for all the party things that you need to do to host something like that. So if you guys can help out, whether you guys want to show up and help or whatever the case is, you don't have to. It's not mandatory or anything like that to be here. It's just a way to help out for all of us to get together and be able to have a badass fucking party. And of course, I'm going to film it. I'm going to get some badass footage of it. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great time. Anyways, back to this.
Do we have any idea if anything was actually accomplished during the talks last Saturday? Because it's important to note that you and I, as I mentioned, were on air at the time.
Brother Warland, much love.
And that meeting didn't go on for very long. I don't know if it was anticipated to be a longer meeting, but it was fairly short.
Yo, real quick, I'm sorry. I missed a couple of people here. We got Brother Frederick Frame up in here saying good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, kind sir. We got Cowboy as well saying, yo, good morning. Good morning, Vietnam. Good to see you, Cowboy, as well as Frederick. Appreciate you guys joining in and hanging out with us savages, by the way.
Overall. So was anything accomplished, or do we really not know?
Well, when you and I talked last week, I think the meeting was just starting or about to start. And I said, we have to manage our expectations. The best hope we can get out of last week's meeting was another meeting. So I'm going to characterize last week as a success. Both sides got in there. They had some discussions through the intermediaries, and I think they said, okay, I'm serious and they're serious about continuing these talks. So they moved forward on that, agreed to.
Will there be balloons? Definitely not. We are not gay. Are you gay? Why are you gay? But yeah, it's going to be the first annual, man. Very first annual. We're going to make sure that this is going to be a yearly thing that we do. It's going to be a great ass time. If it's not a total fucking disaster, you know what I mean? Because it totally can. We could just totally fuck this whole thing up. That's possible. Let's see. Mike Ball, Gaddafi did what the U.S. asked, and then the U.S. still offed him, turned their back on him, and we turned our back on Mubarak in Egypt. Zero reason for Iran to trust our word on anything. Damn. Papa Penguin coming in with the freaking behind the scenes knowledge, man. Big W's in the chat for freaking Papa Penguin for the immense amount of knowledge and being willing to go into depth to explain, and also my way of understanding. So I appreciate that, Papa. Sincerely. Balloon huffing only. Yeah, Lindsay has the right idea.
To have these talks, it's positive that it's in a different site. So both sides are going to continue. But this is where the hard part starts. So now they know they both want to talk. Now let's look at the positions, because they are polar opposite. Iran wants to keep its nuclear program, as I said, and the U.S. has to push for a complete elimination of the nuclear weapons program. So now it gets hard, and we still have to manage expectations.
And you are taking a live look once again. This is from one of the cameras that we have over in Rome, where there's a heavy law enforcement presence there outside what appears to be the Oman embassy, where this meeting is officially underway.
Yo, we got Charlotte up in the building. Shout out to her. Hopefully you're having a wonderful morning so far, as we are trying, obviously, to. We had a bummer news beginning. Unfortunately, the Pope did pass away this morning at like 7:30 in the morning. So he died at 88. But good to see you, by the way. Good to see you.
The Associated Press. One question mark I'm hoping you can help kind of answer here. President Trump reportedly putting a stop to an Israeli proposal for a series of joint strikes next month on those Iranian.
Yeah, but Red, you're showing up. There's no excuses. Don't be gay.
Nuclear facilities in favor of the talks that are happening right here. That's according to a report from the New York Times. Your thoughts on that? And does it say anything overall, and I've asked you this question a lot, about the U.S.-Israel relationship?
Well, Josh, that's an excellent question. And so let me just characterize one thing real quick. And that is the fact that this information was leaked publicly concerns me, because you're talking about operation.
Yo, we got Brother Dean up in here saying happy FU Monday. That's right. That's right. Monday morning. Hey, good morning to you, kind sir.
Plans, putting military forces there. And you're also talking about significant leverage, that one country has with another, or that the U.S. wants to put on Iran. So I'm a little concerned about the leaks. But to address your question specifically, I think this actually shows the strength of the relationship between the United States and Israel at this time, and between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu specifically. One, that Netanyahu was comfortable enough and trusting enough to go to the United States and release these plans and talk about what Israel was considering doing. Secondly, I believe it shows the trust where Trump says, hey, let's hold off a minute. I really want to push for a diplomatic resolution, which I think would be the best course of action to go through. So I think by relying on that, Israel's putting trust in the United States to really pursue this
Are you
diplomatic.
serious, Papa? That's happening. Is that like something that is happening like live right now? After this, let me see how much longer this is. I'm gonna go ahead and skip us through some of the news cycle here because I want to hear the end of this.
So that's good on all sides, and I think Iran should actually take that as a positive message that the United States was telling Israel, hold off.
That's right, Steve. Hey, I'll just always remember, if it looks like a fupa, eat it like a chalupa. Much love and respect, kind sir. We'll see you on the flip side. We got Danny up in here, my man, saying likes from Mike. Absolutely, shit. I was just going the peep dance like a motherfucker. Goddamn, shit.
Trying to pursue this diplomatic.
Good to see you, man. Good morning.
At that. Now let me say this: Trump's put a 2-month deadline, if you will, that these talks either reach a resolution or they make significant progress. I will say that Israel has publicly stated, and it is their national policy, that no nation have nuclear weapons that can threaten Israel. And so Israel doesn't need the United States approval and won't necessarily go or not go based on United States approval. And that's proven out in 2 historic cases. In 1981, Israel bombed Iraqi nuclear weapons.
Well, I haven't seen anything. Well, granted, I haven't been super watching them. Anytime like Saturday, Sunday, I don't really pay attention to like the big news cycles. I'll see the main headlines of what's being reported every day because naturally I'm going to see it on my phone. I'm going to scroll on YouTube. I'm going to scroll on social media. I'm going to see shit. But I didn't see that in the major headlines. So I'm sure it was probably even in the news cycle or maybe not, but I haven't seen any of that. So I'm going to have to definitely do my research on that. We need to get these motherfuckers off Signal. I don't know why these guys are stuck on this fucking app and they keep getting themselves in trouble and blasting themselves in the foot. No pun intended, by the way.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
We got Brother King Blackout saying, good morning, all you wonderful peeps. Mike, hope you're doing, you are well, good sir. I am well. Good to see you, my man. Thank you so much for dropping in and hanging out. Always appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We got all the legends up in here. Make sure if you guys haven't hit that Discord yet, make sure you join up in that Discord. Majority of us in the Breakfast Club are in there. I want to make that 100%, all of us in there, but we've got like 95% of you guys in there. Let's bring it up.
Program development in its early stages. That stopped the Iraqi development. In 2007, they did the same thing when Syria was working on a fledgling nuclear program. So there is precedent that Israel will strike in its national interest, regardless of what the United States says, once we start ticking down this timeline in about 2 months. So that needs to be considered as the backdrop as we move forward.
And on the left-hand side of your screen, I am going to keep up that live image so you can see right outside the embassy as that meeting, according to the Associated Press, is officially underway. But I did want to get to some of the other topics that you and I tend to cover.
No. I'm not going to have them going more in depth there. We'll go ahead and skip into the rest of the news stories. So FSU student lean on one another after deadly shooting. So, of course, they're going to be talking about, probably kids, how they're handling it over there, down there in the Florida State University. So we're just going to go ahead and skip. Luigi Maggioni indicted on federal charges for CEO killing. We knew that this was going to happen. So let's go ahead and back this up. There was no way he was going to get out of this. I have not seen this woman on Live Now from Fox. I've never seen her reporting ever. That's a new face.
Fox, I'm your host, Christina Evans. Our next big story is going to be taking us to the Big Apple. I want to show you this live look that we have there of the city skyline as it is closer to the 7:30 hour there on the East Coast. We're going to be talking about one of the most infamous cases that are now in our news cycle. Right now, we know that the court appearance that was scheduled for today for the accused CEO killer Luigi Mangione has been postponed.
Yo, what's up, Brian? Good morning to you, my man. Saying hope everyone's day is going good. Absolutely. Hopefully it is for you as well.
Her arraignment set to now take place next week. We did hear from our partners there at Fox 5 in New York, Michelle Ross. She was able to confirm that Mangione's arraignment will now take place on Friday, April 25th at 1 p.m. Of course, all of this coming just one day after Mangione was indicted on federal charges in the December killing of the CEO, Brian Thompson. Right now, we do know that Mangione is currently...
That's right, Papa Penguin. We saw this one coming. He says, Luigi is getting the full ride. You don't get to off rich / powerful people in public without consequence. They aren't going to tolerate the message what that kind of sends. Yeah, absolutely. It definitely sends a message, and they're definitely not going to allow this one to just slip by like nothing happened. I don't even know why dude's pleading not guilty, to be honest. We got Gunpowder Nitro up in the building saying, what's good, my man? Good to see you. By the way, good morning to you. What's Mike left-handed tobacco this morning? I must know. This morning I forget the exact strain this one is of this left-handed tobacco. And but it's bomb as fuck. That's all I know. It's bomb. So it's working.
Being held in a federal jail in Brooklyn, and we are going to be continuing to follow the very latest with this case. And to do so, I want to bring into the conversation now legal analyst Jeremy.
I know that. I know what you mean by that, Papa Penguin. Trust me, it didn't go over my head.
Rosenthal, Jeremy, thanks so much for being with us here on Live Now.
We got allegedly up in here. Good morning to you as well. Saying morning. Sorry I'm late. Hug Lucy for me. Absolutely will. She is right now chilling and actually sleeping, which is always a great thing for me. She used to be all up in the trying to get on the desk and onto the controls and onto the soundboard. And I'm like, fuck, I can't have you doing that nonstop. But good morning to you, by the way, my little diatribe. I digress.
Christina, how are you?
I'm great. So this story, of course, it's been one that we've been following since it happened back in December, that manhunt that ensued in the days after for the capture of Luigi Mangione. But now the newest details, of course, he was expected to be in court today, but we also got some new details last night. Now he has facing new federal charges as well. Can you sort of explain those new federal charges and how they're going to differ from the states?
The most significant difference is going to be that the Department of Justice is going to seek the death penalty against.
Oh, no, she is a little fluff ball orange cat. Yeah, she is awesome. We actually got some chat emotes. Well, one of her. She's in a tinfoil hat. So that's our tinfoil hat little emoji, emote, whatever you want to call it.
Mr. Mangione. That's a really big uptick from what New York State was planning to do in order to get a death sentence in federal court. You've got to prove, obviously, an intentional homicide. You've got to prove what's called an aggravating factor. In this instance, they're going to point to this being what they're characterizing as an act of terror, that being trying to shake an industry-wide trying to generate fear industry-wide in the insurance industry and to sort of rally support, if you will, against public figures like Brian Thompson. It's a tall task. It's a tall order anytime you're trying to invoke the death penalty. You don't have it on every.
You can thank Naomi. She came up with all of those designs. It's awesome.
Case, and very, very few murders even result in capital punishment, but the Department of Justice, Attorney General Pam Bondi made it very.
Yo, we got surprise. We got extra surprise up in here. Good morning to you as well, kind sir.
That they thought it was in the best interest of the United States that Mr. Mangione be sentenced to death, and they're going to be pursuing that.
And it is certainly interesting because if I'm not mistaken, Jeremy, does New York State even have the ability to do capital punishment in their state?
That's a good question. They're certainly not pursuing it in this instance. Mm-hmm. And in this instance, most situations where you're going to have a homicide, federal murder charges are.
He's definitely a do funny.
Actually, believe it or not, kind of on the rare side. You have state courts most commonly prosecute these types of offenses. And in the majority of these types of situations, the feds are going to lay back and let the states sort of take the lead. And in this instance, New York State may very well take the lead on it. Their trial may go first. But again, they're not seeking the death penalty.
See how it keeps jamming on him like that? It's because it's a 3D printed gun, and you can't rely on those pieces of shit. And yeah, Papa Penguin's correct up here. He 3D printed a gun, stalked, and then pew-pewed him. If they ain't premeditation, nothing is. Absolutely correct.
State elevated Mr. Mangioni's case to the highest degree of murder that they can, based on the same prerequisite, based on the terror charge. Again, saying, look, you are trying to invoke a panic or a fear industry-wide or across the board, and we believe that puts this murder in a different category. I think in some instances the death penalty is. I'll leave it obviously to the jury or the judges to decide.
It's obviously heresy.
In the case, whether or not it's appropriate, but Mr. Mangione has, I think, a lot of mitigating factors here, even for what was obviously an obvious cold-blooded killing.
Yeah, let him go experience the worst of the worst. Exactly, allegedly. 100,000%. I agree with that.
Mr. Mangione suffered from some psychological issues, whether they rise to the level of not guilty by reason of insanity.
That scene is insane. This scene is insane.
How his defense team seeks to go about it. But this is a man who 6 months before the murder, the family says, we don't recognize him anymore. He was off.
2 shots off, and dude kind of just like walks off.
This is an age commonly where young men might have
No, we got Jeremy Ryan up in here. Hey, man, hopefully you had a wonderful Easter as well. I had a fantastic day. Listen, always when you can spend it with family and the people that you love, man, that's the best of the best right there.
A break, a psychological break, sometimes with reality. So anytime you have these types of mitigating factors, the death penalty really becomes less and less likely the more a jury or a judge is exposed to those types of things. But again, they're taking a very aggressive approach to it.
And Jeremy, I think what also makes this case so interesting, it was a 5-day manhunt in the days after the murder of the CEO.
Yeah, they found him at like, it wasn't like a McDonald's. What was it that he got picked up at? In Pennsylvania? Was it in PA? But anyways, it was something like that.
To capture who police believe killed him, Luigi Mangione, the man they now have in custody. But ultimately, the amount of, I want to say, celebrity that Mangione received.
Oh, I can only imagine. Papa Penguin. Especially on the internet, like not like mainstream media personnel. I'm talking about the internet. Yeah, I know it was. I saw what the left was saying, basically. Dude, it was outrageous what they were saying.
On the other side.
I'm like, that's exactly why my comment originally, when this all originally happened, I said, don't get it twisted. This is an attack on capitalism, nothing else. You know what I mean? And yeah, anyways.
Once he was eventually named by police officers as the person taken into custody, it's also interesting. How do you think that's going to play out in this case if it does ultimately go to trial?
Hell yeah, Beezer. He said, I spent Easter building a handicap ramp for my dog. Hell yeah, W. It was a McDonald's, huh? I was thinking it was like some sort of McDonald's they picked him up at and spotted him or whatever the case was. Is that someone standing in the doorway? My doorway? No. If you're talking about the scene, I'm not sure. We assume he used a 22 long rifle and added the silencer, and the pew-pew didn't have enough ass to kick the shell. LR, is that what you meant by, did you mean LR is like long rifle, or are you talking about the shot itself, the actual round? Yeah, absolutely. People are sick in the head. For fuck's sake, absolutely. It was a McDonald's, and the Wendy's account on social media was burning McDonald's. Best stuff ever. Holy shit, I did not know that. I'm sure that it was crazy over there on X. That's usually where they talk shit. All these different companies will do it. It's awesome. No worries, Naomi. Go restart your phone real quick. Let's see here. Capital punishment penalty. That's so funny because of the damn, because of those damn, man, it's crazy. Let's see, real quick. Yeah, 22 long rifle. That's what I figured what you meant by the actual round itself. All right, back to this.
The jury knows this case likely through and through. It'll be tough, I can imagine, to find folks who can be impartial just
I didn't
based
see that,
off
Charles.
of the large-scale media attention the story has been given.
Certainly makes it a lot more difficult. The more that people are out there hearing about it, the more opinions that are being formulated. If I'm the government or the U.S. government, or if I'm New York State, what I'm doing is I'm leaning into that popularity, and I'm saying, look, this is the entire reason why we upped the charges. This is the entire reason why we wanted the most severe penalty.
And he's going to get the most severe penalty. Trust me on that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and fast forward on National Military Easter Sunrise Service, which I did a sunrise service as well, which is fantastic. I loved seeing all those on the social media and all that, seeing what other people were doing across the nation. It was awesome. NFL, I don't give a shit. I'm not talking on sports, dude. We're doing like actual news over here. COVID.gov website updated with lab leak information.
That's what we've been through.
Back it up. I just want to hear the actual story. I don't need them to like go in super in depth. I'm not going to go and listen to the whole fucking story, but that is interesting. I want to hear what they have to say about this.
If there was evidence of a
20.
Man, they've been talking about it for a second. I keep backing it up.
I would say, however, that many cities do have virology labs like that stature, not just Wuhan.
Okay. Found it. Finally.
Westfall, a live look at the White House on this Saturday evening, 9 minutes.
Yo, we got freaking Beezer sending out 5 to you guys, man. Let's freaking go. Beezer, thank you so much. And by the way, we're an hour and 1 minute in, and that is the first donation of the day. I can't thank you enough, kind sir. Not only are you helping me, but you are helping out the rest of the Breakfast Club, man. So I very much appreciate that, kind sir, and very selfless. Pablo Penguin says, I'm putting together a video on all things they walked back for COVID. Not sure I'm going to put it out. It's absolute rage bait. Well, let me go ahead and be the first one to tell you, definitely put it out. Do it. 100% do it. And I'll even put it up on this show. I'll review it. Let's do it. Absolutely.
7 in the nation's capital, 9 minutes past 4 out west.
Absolutely, Steve Posey. We'll see you on the flip side, man.
Following closely a story that broke yesterday, a federal website that used to feature information on vaccines, testing, and treatment for COVID-19 has been transformed into a page supporting the theory that the pandemic originated with a lab leak. The COVID.gov website shows a photo.
Absolutely, I'll do something for it, Danny. I've done it for the last 2 years, actually. So yeah, absolutely. We'll figure out something.
Of President Trump walking between the words lab and leak under a White House heading. It mentions that Wuhan, China, which is where the coronavirus first began spreading, is home to a research lab with a history of conducting virus research with what they call inadequate bios.
Yep, that's very true. There's a whole reason now why basically all trust in every bit of vaccines went down the fucking hole. And what sucks about it is people are now not using vaccines that have been proven for forever to work and be, there is always going to be a very small risk in anything that you're doing. But nonetheless, these are very safe vaccines that now people aren't even going to take those because they lost faith with the whole system. And Fauci was the one that made that happen, unfortunately.
Safety levels. Infectious disease expert Dr. Peter Chin Hong is here. I know you've seen the website. We were talking about this a little bit yesterday offline. The website mentions 5 bullet points near the top of it, Peter. What I want to do with you today is go through each bullet point.
I'm with you, Lindsay. Yes, absolutely. I 100% concur. I use that type of vaccine all the time.
One by one. Here they are. The first one says as follows. The virus possesses a biological characteristic that is not found.
Yeah, but Jeremy, the one thing about that pardon is that theoretically the signature that Biden did wasn't actually him. It was a machine that did it. And if that's the case, well, it's null and void. Right? So there's controversy on that.
In nature. True?
Not true. That was early in the pandemic. There was this cleavage site called the furin cleavage site that seemed really wacky, and people thought for sure that didn't seem to be part of a natural virus. But then subsequent studies later on after that those early 2020 studies showed that actually in other coronaviruses that furin cleavage site was present. And in fact, many scientists...
Be safe out there, brother Red. We'll see on for tomorrow morning's, the rest of the world's madness.
Just believe that you can't just make that in the lab. In fact, if you try to make something in the lab, that particular site would disappear.
So the second bullet point, and we will go through these, it says, data shows that all COVID-19 cases stem from a single introduction into humans. This runs contrary to previous pandemics where there were multiple spillover events. What do you make of that?
I think we don't have conclusive evidence of that. So I would say I'm in the middle about that. We do have evidence from the...
No. I know that most people would not be against the indictment of Fauci. At this point, absolutely. Charge them all and lock them up. I agree. I just thought he had a pardon that prevented it. If there is a way, I'm for it. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I am the exact same position and mind frame as you. Appreciate you, by the way, Naomi, for throwing out the places that you guys can kindly send your tips into. I very much appreciate that.
Market in Wuhan that there were a lot of patients that were in a ring around the market that seemed to be more than just by chance. And there were genetic material that was isolated in the market. But I can't tell you because we don't have enough data that it was from one event or more than one event. And hard to show that at this point because of where we are.
Oh, but multiple people had access to the damn thing. So it would have been all right, theoretically, if it was only ever used by him and he only had access to it. But since other people could, that's the argument. Now I understand. Interesting.
In the pandemic.
So the third bullet point says Wuhan is home to China's foremost SARS research lab, which has a history of conducting gain-of-function research, which means gene-altering an organism supercharging at inadequate biosafety levels. What do we know about what was taking place at that facility, Doctor?
Oh, we do know that they were looking at various coronaviruses and other viruses as well, not just coronaviruses. So I would say that it's possible that it was an accidental spillover. But again, I can't tell you for sure because we don't have evidence. I would say, however, that many cities do have virology labs like that stature, not just Wuhan in China, like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangdong.
See, this is the kind of shit that pisses me off is these stupid scientists that are out here creating this shit. Now, it's been proven for a long time that the virus possesses a biological characteristic that is not found in nature. That means it cannot form or create by itself. It would never be it could never happen unless someone made it. And which is unfortunate, right? But with the whole thing regarding that is the reason why I hate these scientists is like they're only doing it to feed their egos in a lot of these situations. They create all these fucking viruses just to be able to feed their egos that they can conquer that virus. You know what I mean? And it's an ego-filled fucking area, man. And I hate that shit. It's like, why would we do that ever? Why would we ever create something that would never create on its own? You know what I mean? Anyways, there's a lot of information on this, obviously.
Province Guangzhou. So there are many other large cities, even in Hong Kong, where there are big virus centers.
Right, Papa.
So
Yes.
if you're in a city, it doesn't mean that that's the only place because it's in Wuhan that you could have gotten it from.
And just a sidebar before we get on to bullet point number 4, even before 2020, before
Thank you,
late
Carney.
2019.
Thank you,
guys
SNS,
like you,
for
was it
blasting out
common
the
knowledge
information.
That these types of tests were going on at facilities like that across the globe?
Yes, I think what the important issue is that we can learn if it was a spillover or accidental spillover, that we can learn and try to enhance safety procedures later on for other pathogens. There are many.
Yeah, it was only like 7 Ks away from Wuhan to China, right there.
What we call level 4 pathogens
right
that
over
are
the
housed in
bridge.
labs all around the world, and they're very strict biosafety measures. Whether or not these were followed or not remains to be seen. But from all intents and purposes, what we know right now is that they did follow protocol like other places in the world with these level 4 agents.
Move on to bullet point number 4. Wuhan Institute of Virology, WIV, researchers were sick with COVID-like symptoms in the fall of 2019, months before COVID-19 was discovered at the wet market. What do we know about that?
We know that people were sick, but there was actually another report saying that they had other symptoms that were not consistent with early COVID. They were more consistent with milder disease. So if they had those symptoms now in 2025, I would say, sure, that could have been COVID. But if you
All right, so what we're going to do is he's going to go into this huge diatribe, as you would assume any doctor would do, regarding this. I got the main story here. Some schools are teaching teenagers how to sleep. Are you serious? And then this morning, obviously, 7 hours ago, there was the breaking news right here that Pope Francis dies on Easter Monday at 88 years old. And that was the breaking news this morning. And look at that. That is insane right there. That is a lot of people, man. Anyways, that brings us into the rest of where the news cycle is just purely going to be regarding basically the Pope. And may he rest in peace. Anyways, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot thank you all enough for coming in and hanging out with yours truly, man. I always am honored to be able to do what I do, man. So I'm very appreciative. Real quick, we got Joseph saying, good morning, Mr. Bald, Lucy, Breakfast Crew, BNC, and can't forget the hater, Stop the Cat.
Stop the cat.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, always appreciate you for hanging out with us, you guys. Listen, until tomorrow morning, for more of the world's madness, make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way, on the way out. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free. You know what I mean? Little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my lifestyle, but of the show, as well as Millennial Food Time. It's a fantastic way to get a hold of me personally, and where I post all my fun stuff on the internet. You know what I mean? Anyways, with that being said, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Until then, much love, honor, and respect, everybody, and God bless. Stick around for the raid, by the way.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on to his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit.